Well, as I keep saying, what in the Easter is happening outside right now? Is it April? That's what it feels like. We just got an announcement into our studio email that the Fargo Park District has closed outdoor skating rinks due to warm temperatures. At this time, though, the Shields Rink at Broadway Square, located in downtown Fargo, will remain open to the public, providing a continued opportunity for outdoor ice skating. But here's the deal. The other ones, unseasonably warm temperatures have led to standing water and structurally unsound ice.
Whoa.
And it's not even February. I mean, we're close. We're right there. Too Tall Tom Szymanski joins us because, hey, man, it's Too Tall Tom's Terribly Trivial Tuesday Tidbits.
Today.
There you go. What in the Easter is happening right now?
I just say I love it. I know a lot of people hate it.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
I think a lot more people love it than hate it, but there are the haters out there, and I get it. I used to be a winter sport enthusiast, but I will counter by saying there have been a lot of winters in recent years past where winter sports have just absolutely thrived well into the late winter and early spring.
Yeah, okay, so let's get to Wondering in West Fargo. Had another question
Oh.
in the early morning hours this morning about how much snow was on the ground on this date last year. So a year ago, we weren't seeing as much grass as we're seeing now.
Oh, no. And I want to take it even further than that. I've got data back to 2011. And, I'm not going to use all time because, in 2011, a lot of people have forgotten about that. We're prisoners of the moment, and recent history is always better reference points for a lot of people, okay? But first of all, this year, the official snow on the ground is a trace, okay? And I can actually see about 85% of my yard right now without anything on it. The only part that has snow on it is where there's tree shade, That's it, or the north side of the house. Last year on this date, we had a foot, okay?
A foot, okay, which seems like a lot right now, but I don't think it seems like a lot compared to maybe our average, right?
Well, a foot, a lot of people were saying, well, it looks like a lot more. Well, again, you got to remember we're talking about the actual snow depth, not the depth of the drifts or the piles or anything like that. So if you look at the piles, it looked like a lot more. 2 years ago, we had 11 inches on the ground. 2021, we had 3 inches. Okay, so that was a low snow January. And let's see, 16 inches a year before that in 2020. So it's a year-to-year thing, but in the last several years, more Januaries have had a lot of snow on the ground versus Januaries that have not. So if you go all the way back to 2011, the deepest snow depth I can see on the 30th of January was 2011, where we had 18 inches on the ground, okay?
Okay.
And the lowest is this year in 2015, where officially it's a trace. So the average snow depth on the ground on January 30th from this year back through 2011 is 8.1 inches. Okay?
Wow.
So, yeah, there have been more times when there's been plenty of snow on the ground than there have been with really not that much. So the answer to the question that a lot of people have, is this an unusual year? It probably is. Yeah, I would say it is pretty unusual to see very little, if any, snow on the ground in late January. Now, that does not mean it's going to be like that the rest of the year. We all know how things can go. Last year, it was 2 years ago, there was not much snow in January at the end of January, but all of a sudden there was a switch flipped in February, and Mother Nature went ballistic and just absolutely clobbered us.
I remember that. Mm-hmm.
Right.
We've had some... If we remember the last couple
ferocious
of springs,
Februarys.
Yes, the last couple of springs have been brutal. It was just last spring where we could not hit 40. It was brutally cold. It just felt like it was a never-ending spring.
Right.
So don't count it out just yet, is what you're saying. Like we haven't surpassed winter just yet. It could still be lingering in the dugout.
Right, and, we have to get up to 50.4 inches to have an average winter. So far, we've had 7 inches of snow so far. Last year at this time, we had about 30. Okay.
Did we make snow predictions this year?
Yeah, we did. You have them somewhere.
Okay, I have them back at my desk, I think.
I don't think anybody has as low of a total as we have right now.
There's no way. Mother Nature won this competition. There's no way we guessed 7 in, if we were guessing for just January, there's no way we would have guessed 7.
We still have February, March, and early April.
And
Yes.
it's a leap year, guys.
Oh, an
so
extra
we
day.
get an extra day of winter to kind of add into the mix.
Why don't they just have like a July 32nd?
Oh.
Here?
I don't know
Oh,
how.
hold on. Tom Szymanski just had maybe the best idea ever, which is why not add leap year in the summer so you get an extra day of summer? Tom, bravo.
Yeah.
Oh.
Saying of the day, huh?
I'm retiring right now. Like, oh my God, that is a
He's
brilliant idea.
He's starting a petition, and he's going to try to make this the law of the land.
Well, because February, actually it is the storm or the shortest month. But in my opinion, it seems to be more often than not, at least psychologically, it's the longest one.
Yeah, it does.
It really does. That's very true.
It just goes on and on and on and on. and there's a reason they have things like Valentine's Day, President's Day, Groundhog's Day, all this stuff, just so the monotony of the month doesn't kill people.
How much snow did we have the winter of 97 in January? This is a text in at 35270. Just curious, that was the worst spring ever for some of my family members because of the flood.
Well, the entire winter we had 117 inches, which is the all-time record. Interestingly enough, 96, 97 we're referring to. It's not 97, 98, but 96, 97. I know what the texter is referring to. Oddly enough, in January, and I have it up right here, we only had 8 inches that month.
Wow.
Yeah, so January, what
So
we did was
the
we
bulk
got
of it came in the
we got
spring.
nucleated after that, but we did still on January. Oh wait, I'm looking at February. Let me get the right month up here.
Okay.
January of 97. Here we go. February only had 80. Okay, yeah, now we go. January we had 28.6 inches.
Okay, there we go.
And we had 27 inches of snow on the ground on this date in 1997. So,
Wow.
yeah, 97 is the benchmark year against which all winters will be compared.
Could this be the benchmark year that we compare to instead, like in the other direction? Are we the benchmark in the other direction?
We're right about there. I think we're in
Yeah.
the top 5 or 6 right now in terms of snowless winters to this point.
Let's do
I mean,
it.
Tom, to how you talk about the averages, this amalgam of many years, this is the year that's going to throw off the average, right?
Mhm.
So we get a super snowy winter, but then we've got this one to balance it out, which is why we don't say on average we get blank.
Well, that's why I tell people when they hear the word average, and I get this from people sometimes, well, they'll say the average high for today is like, well, just throw a number out there, 20, okay? So they think, well, it wasn't 20. Isn't it supposed to be 20 today? And the answer to that is no, because I'll use a very simple example here. If you take 2 years, one day it's 0, and the next year it's 100, okay? The average is 50, obviously, right? Now,
Right.
does 50 represent any one of those years? The answer to that would be no.
No.
Hey,
Yeah.
also, speaking of 50, you are thinking that we're going to break a record tomorrow for a high temp, right?
Yeah, I was going to get to that, too. Before I get to that, that's a very good segue. We've only had 10 days this year where we've gone down below 0. And how much would you guess that we average? Speaking of averages, what do you think we average a year, getting below 0 here?
Oh, I'm going to say 30.
Okay.
30 days below
Amy?
0.
I'll say, okay, let me think. It's January, so we should have had, I'll guess 40.
Ooh, Amy's just 2 off.
Oh, boy.
42.
42.
So we need to get, no, we don't need to, but we would have, allow me to rephrase, we would have to have 32 more days just to hit average. So I don't see that. It's not going to happen. In fact, as I look through the first half of February, it still looks very quiet. Now, that 50 I'm talking about tomorrow, that's contingent on sunshine, and I think we'll have it. The thing that's going to set the temperature up is any time in the winter, more often than not, when you get a west wind, that's the warmest wind direction in the winter. A lot of people think a south wind's the warmest wind direction. No, it's a west wind. So when you get a west wind, you couple that with sunshine and an approaching front up to the north that hasn't gotten here yet, you have all the ingredients tomorrow for the temperature just to soar. Now, 2 days ago, we had a situation like that where it hit 46. That was a record 2 days ago. Yesterday, we had 47 46, but that was not a record. But tomorrow's 50 would smash the record of 44 set 15 years ago.
Oh, I love it so much.
I know.
It feels so good being outside right now.
And, and I do get it. I feel for the people. I saw somebody hauling snowmobiles up north
Oh,
now.
yeah.
And I used to do this when I was a snowmobiler back in these years like this or similar to this.
Yes.
You can find the snow. It's out there.
Yep.
Unfortunately, a lot of times people come here to snowmobile in winters where we have a lot of snow. So it's our turn to go there instead of there to come here.
Someone said snowmobiles are turning into a museum exhibit. So text in at 35270.
Well,
I mean, it has been a brutal year for that. We just took the kids skiing last weekend.
Yeah.
We went out near the Bismarck area to Huff Hills. And, they don't have a lot open, but they've got some runs open. They're making snow as best they can, right?
Right.
And my daughter went up on one of the lifts, and my husband showed her one of the snow machines.
Right.
And now I think she thinks that's how we get snow.
Well,
I was trying to explain to her, like,
this year that is.
that is how we get. But it was just bizarre driving on the way there. We have muddy dirt roads. You go to that Bismarck-Mandan area, it's just rolling hills of brown.
Right.
There's no snow to be seen. You get up on these hills at Huff, and all you see is brown all around you.
Mm-hmm.
It is just bizarre.
But there are, as you just pointed out, though, there are places you can go.
Yep.
To find the snow.
Yep.
And the temperatures are so nice, it's actually pleasant to be in the snow then.
It was wonderful. It was a beautiful 40-some degrees.
Right.
Very comfortable. Everybody was taking their jackets off at one point when the sun got high enough.
So I got a question. Usually I'm the one taking the questions, but for snow removal companies, okay, that are hurting, and obviously I do feel bad for them. Is it better? It's a tough question. I don't know which way to go. Is it better for them to charge per season or per time?
Oh, you know what? I think
that's a great question.
I think every single season you regret not doing it the other way.
Well, yeah, like last year.
Yep, bingo.
Yes.
I mean, last year you would have been really well off charging per time.
Yeah, and also I think it depends too, because the amount of snow that we get in a single storm depends on whether or not they come out to clear. And so last year, we had a lot of storms that had, that half an inch or more, which caused them to have to go out. So if you paid for a full season and you're stopping by 20 times during the season, it's not as great as if you said, like, okay, listen, we're going to get 2 feet of snow in one weekend and then it'll just take care of itself. I feel bad for those people who are out there. I mean, there's people out there who have brand new shovels and they're like, we're waiting, man.
Maybe they need to come out and show up at your place or a business or a residential if there's flurries in the forecast. And so if there's nothing that happens, they can just still scrape your driveway even though there's nothing on it.
Oh, there you go. I mean, at this point, you could also pull weeds. I mean, that's where we're at right now. So we'll make use of the people.
Have you used your snowblower at all, Tom? I don't think we have used ours.
I have a push snowblower and I have a riding lawnmower that in the winter I put a plow on it, or I have someone put it on for me.
Yeah.
I haven't used that one yet. I've used my push snowblower one time.
Once.
And so I have square tires on my other one.
Yeah.
It's just I started it up last week just to see if it would start up, and it did.
Wow.
Well, by the way, I was going to bring this up. Don Haney brought this up this morning. He was telling me that he heard from some people in Minneapolis area that the trees are budding in some parts of Minneapolis area.
I mean, I heard birds out here the other day.
That's not I don't think that's a very good thing because, and that's more of a horticultural kind of thing. But I just think that could be bad for the trees if it gets cold again.
Yeah, I think you're right. We don't want them to start budding out.
But that's freaky. It's January.
That is freaky. It is January. We just have to keep reminding ourselves it's January. Someone said quite a few of my neighbors pay for the year. Not working well for them so far. Brutal.
Yeah. It just depends on which way you look at it.
I know. But then it could have gone the other direction.
Mm-hmm.
No one could have predicted this.
It still could.
It still could. You're right. We've still got time. We've still got time to turn this around for everybody who wants to go snowmobiling. I mean, at this point, we can hope for it just for them so they can get a weekend in because it's not going to last forever.
Well, for them, since I have a kind heart, I hope that sometime we get it. But for the rest of us, even if we do get that, every day that goes by is one less day we have to worry about it.
Someone said, I think you need to bring your kids and come up to Frostfire where we still have beautiful scenery and wonderful runs. Yes, we do need to go up there.
Yeah.
It was just logistics that we met in the Bismarck area because we were meeting some friends that live in Scranton, North Dakota. And so it was kind of like a midway point for our families to get together. So that's been, but yes, we did discuss switching it up next year, and we'll just have to make a little bit longer of a drive out of it.
So there are places to go.
Yeah, there absolutely are. Yeah. There is. They're making snow for you.
It's kind of like
there.
me when I like to golf in the season, and it's really rotten here.
Yeah.
Golf courses aren't open. I hop in a car and I'll drive somewhere and go play where I can.
There you go. To tell Tom Szymanski, thanks.
All right,
so
thank
far,
you.
loving this winter. 10 out of 10
I'm
so
with you.
far.
Mm-hmm.